So in my last video I showcased the very first iteration of Zavod nighttime prototype, and in this video I'll be showing off the updated version, which I'm sure you'll notice if you compare both of the videos. I also want to go over some progress with the community design map project, as well as some general CTE improvements and updates. Also, I just want to mention quickly, I'm using a completely different codec for recording, so please let me know if you prefer it. This codec has a lot more realistic colors to match the source, and it looks like I might be sticking to it. But anyway, the updated version of Zavod looks way better. I mean, it's to be expected anyway. Of course, there's going to be more improvements. DICE completely removed the moon, so no more supernova type bright moonlight that just lit up way too much of the map. I read some people actually saying removing the moon was a bad move, but I think the map looks so much more of a night map than it did before. Also, I said in my last video, between the central capture points there was just way too much light from a lot of different light sources on the rooftops and around in narrow corridors, almost to the point it kind of felt like a daytime map, and it made the textures looked really washed out. You didn't even need to use a thermal scope as well. You could easily just get away with any kind of red dot sight. But a lot of the interior lights have been toned down, and also they're now destructible. I don't know if DICE tweaked anything else, but the textures and just the overall color vibrancy is a lot more improved than how it was before. They also removed the fog that appears in your site reticle, which was pretty damn annoying last time. Also, DICE need our help to name the night versions of both Zavod and Goldmud Railway night maps. If you have any good names, make sure to leave it on the CTE Reddit page. I'm sure they'll really appreciate it. Someone suggested for Zavod night map to just name it Zavod 3:11 AM, which, even though it's very simple, I think the name works well. But like I said, make sure to leave your opinion on the CTE forums or the Reddit page, or you can just leave a comment down below. And as for the community map project, the results of the very first survey have been released, and if you haven't seen them already, we can see here from the graph, jungle theme is a clear winner. I was hoping that would be the case. I would love to see a really well made jungle map, and obviously a good portion of the community does as well. Also, the second map was up. I believe it's now closed, but for anyone that didn't see it, DICE wants to know what points of interest you'll like to see. So, as we can see here, you can select prison camp, ancient temple ruins, mining village, and all things like that. It seems like you can only select 5 as well. I originally selected about 7, but it wouldn't let me process a survey. Also, it seems like once the results are in for this second survey, DICE are going to create a couple of map layouts, obviously based from the jungle theme and the most highly voted points of interest. And these map layouts will be in the next survey, so that's the third one, which I imagine will be sometime later next week or maybe the week after. So let's talk about some CTE updates. There's been a ton of netcode tweaks and improvements over the past 2 patches or so. In fact, there's so much, I'm going to dedicate a video about it sometime next week once I get a better idea how I feel about it on CTE. But just to slightly overview it, there seems to be a fairly significant reduction to rubber banding, also massive improvements to jitter correction, which means smoother gameplay on not so great internet connections. The network smoothing option has been completely removed, which I think is a good idea. It just causes more confusion to players. I can't say for certain how these improvements feel, but I can say in retail BF4 I do get a bit of packet loss a couple of times per game, sometimes quite a lot. It really depends on what server I'm playing on. But on CTE I rarely even see it, so fingers crossed it stays like that. Also, I just want to quickly mention the winter patch brought in a really annoying bug, how you get stuck in this weird death revive screen, which has happened to me quite a few times. Unfortunately, it looks like DICE are still trying to work out what's causing it. But if you have any recordings of this problem, upload it to YouTube, leave it on the CTE Reddit page. And as for other improvements, thermal optics on vehicles have had a pretty major rework. I believe this is the first step in making the thermal scopes work well in the dark and making them more consistent between maps. If we just compare it to retail BF4, I'm in Siege of Shanghai daytime map, and as you can see, notice how there's no dark spots on CTE, especially around the edges of your screen. In retail BF4 at some angles it's pretty obstructive. You'll notice in the CTE client you can't see as far as retail BF4, but on CTE medium range looks a lot easier to see. I don't know how thermal scopes work in real life, but in terms of how they work in game, so far I prefer how it's been tweaked on the CTE client. Also, DICE have brought in third-person soldier bullet impact sounds, but for some weird reason I couldn't hear any difference, even testing it with a couple of friends, and we still couldn't hear any noticeable impact sounds when compared to retail BF4. I'm still looking into why that's the case, but from what I've read, the sounds aren't anything too crazy different. I was kind of hoping the ding noise from Bad Company 2 when you get a headshot was going to be added, but unfortunately it wasn't. It has been suggested a lot of times, so I really hope DICE LA put it into the game. Just little details like that can make a world of difference to some people. Even myself, I really miss that feature from Bad Company 2. But overall, the main goal is impact sounds will be different from limbs to torso and headshots, like I said, even when bullets impact body armor. But anyway guys, that's it for today's video. Make sure to complete that second survey if you haven't already. By the time I've uploaded, it might actually be closed, but I'll still leave a link in the description just in case it isn't. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.